Once upon a time, a merchant lived in a city. He used to trade salt, with which he used to support his family. His family consisted of his wife and two sons. The merchant's two sons had a completely different nature. His elder son was very shy and timid, who hesitated to talk to anyone. On the other hand, his younger son was open and fearless, who never hesitated to speak his mind in any situation. People often considered the elder son naive and foolish, and many times people took undue advantage of his simple nature. But the elder son never had the courage to say anything to anyone. The merchant was always unhappy with this nature of his son. Due to his shy nature, the merchant scolded and even beat him many times. But due to this, the elder son's nature deteriorated even more. He became so scared that he used to forget the answers to the questions he had memorized in the examination and could not even write properly, due to which his education remained incomplete. When the elder son became an adult, the merchant asked him to help in the business. Out of fear of his father, he agreed, but he kept making mistakes in business, which made the merchant even more angry. One day the merchant had gone to the city for some work and had left the elder son to sit at the shop. Just then some people came and told the elder son that his father had sent them, and his order was to give them all the sacks of salt kept in the shop. They said that his father had ordered to send these sacks of salt to the city. The merchant's son was doubting their intentions, but due to hesitation and fear, he could not say anything. Both the men entered the shop and started loading all the sacks in their cart, and the merchant's son could not stop them. A thought came to his mind that if he stopped them, his father would get angry with him. A few days later, when the merchant returned from the city, he saw that the shop was lying empty. He asked his son, "Where did the sacks of salt go? Why is the shop so empty?" The elder son said in a low voice that some people had come and said that father had called for all the sacks of salt, so they took all the sacks. Hearing this, the merchant held his head. He got angry and threw his son out of the shop and said, "You will always remain a fool. They have fooled you and looted all the goods. You have caused me a great loss. Now go away from here and do not come back. If you come back, I will kill you and peel your skin off." This incident made the merchant's son very sad. His shy nature once again became the reason for his father's anger, and this time he suffered a huge loss in business as well. The people of the town started laughing at him and making fun of him, due to which he started feeling very embarrassed. He started thinking that he was of no use, and he felt that he would never be able to fit himself in this society. Frightened by these thoughts, the merchant's son left the town and sat on the bank of a river and started crying bitterly. Looking at the deep water, he thought that his life no longer had any meaning, and he decided to end his life by drowning in this river. He jumped into the river, and as he started drowning, a Buddhist monk who was bathing there rescued him and pulled him out of the water. The merchant's son got angry and said to the monk, "Why did you save me? I don't want to live this unsuccessful life." The Buddhist monk explained to him, "Life is a precious gift. How will you overcome failure and achieve success if you don't live?" The merchant's son said, "I have many problems in my life, and all these are because of my shy and timid nature. I have caused great loss to my father. I am not a good son. Because of my timid nature, I could not even get proper education, and the townspeople consider me a fool. Does a fool have the right to live in this world?" The Buddhist monk replied, "These questions can only be answered by my guru. I will take you to him." The merchant's son was reluctant at first, but after repeated persuasion by the monk, he agreed to go with them. On reaching the ashram, the merchant's son saw the Mahatma meditating under a tree. The Buddhist monk pointed towards the Mahatma and said, "This is our guru, Gautam Buddha." Both of them bowed to Gautam Buddha. Buddha smiled and blessed them. The merchant's son sat there and started crying loudly. Gautam Buddha asked him, "What is the reason for your crying?" Then he replied, "Now you are my last hope. If you do not solve my problem, I will end my life." Gautam Buddha asked the merchant's son to tell him about his problem in detail. The young man told that he has been shy and introvert since childhood. He said to Gautam Buddha, "You are a great person and you have many disciples. I also want to become your disciple. Will you accept me?" Gautam Buddha said, "Yes, of course." The young man then asked, "Gurudev, tell me some solution that will change my life." Gautam Buddha replied, "Before that, you have to do an important task. If you successfully complete this task, I will tell you the solution that will completely change your life, and your father will also be happy with you." Gautam Buddha further said, I will tell you the solution after 3 days. But in these 3 days, you have to follow all my instructions. Your first day will start from tomorrow. Now you go to the ashram and rest. The next morning, the merchant's son came to Gautam Buddha and said, Guruvar, tell me the work of the first day. Gautam Buddha said, today you have to talk to 20 strangers and know their well-being. You have to give me an account of it by evening. The young man felt scared inside, but he accepted Gautam Buddha's words and set out to talk to 20 strangers. Initially, he hesitated a lot, and many people scolded him and drove him away. When he came back to Gautam Buddha in the evening, he happily said that he had completed the first task. The next morning, Gautam Buddha said to him, today your task is to teach 100 disciples of the ashram about the use of water. Hearing this, the merchant's son was surprised. He said, why are you making me do this work? My education is incomplete. I will not be able to do this. Gautam Buddha smiled and said, here only I know that your education is incomplete. If you do not do this task, I will not tell you the solution. The young man gathered courage and went to the children. Initially, his hands and legs were trembling, but in the end, he taught the children about the importance of water. Returning to Gautam Buddha, he told that he was very scared, but he completed the task. Gautam Buddha said, try one more time. This time, the young man taught the children with confidence, and his nervousness disappeared. Gautam Buddha praised him and said, you should always have courage. On the third day, Gautam Buddha said to him, today's task may seem strange to you, but you have to go to meet your father. Hearing this, the young man became afraid again and said, I cannot go in front of my father. I do not have courage. Gautam Buddha calmly said, okay, then I will not even tell you the solution. Finally, the young man had to agree with Gautam Buddha. He apologized to his father and requested him to give him another chance. The young man came back to Gautam Buddha and asked, Gurudev, what is the solution that you promised to tell after 3 days? Gautam Buddha smiled and said, you have found your own solution. The hesitation and shyness you felt was a fear in your mind. As soon as you faced that fear, it disappeared. Start facing every fear in life, the fear will disappear on its own. The young man expressed his gratitude to Gautam Buddha and promised that he would prove himself successful in life. If you like to listen to such inspiring stories, then like this video and subscribe to the channel immediately.